Hello everyone and welcome to this week's tutorial. This one's going to be sort of a overall programming tutorial about managing versions and backups. I'm going to be going over how to back up your scripts, plugins, and extensions, how to organize them, and other recommendations to make sure you both have a faster workflow, have a safe backup, and can easily manage different versions and view the changes over time. Before we get started with this video, I do want to remind you down below, hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified of new videos coming out twice weekly on the channel. And down in the description, you can check out the notes for this in the link below, the GitHub link. And you can also follow us there on GitHub to get updates on when we release new scripts, always uploaded there way before we upload the videos themselves. Also in the description, you can follow us on Instagram for other updates. If you want to join our Discord server, you can get help with scripting, extensions, plugins, expressions, submit tutorial ideas, and much more. And if you want to help support us on YouTube and get cool perks at the same time, you can become a member, supporter, premium supporter, or VIP, link in the description. So let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be a quicker tutorial where I just explain and show you a bit about how I organize things, back up things, and the lessons I've learned over time in order to achieve this workflow. So firstly, let's talk about backups and versioning. It's important to have several backups for any of your projects, whether you think your drives are reliable or whether you think that you are going to be working on it for a short period of time. It's always good to have a backup online, locally, and a redundant backup of some kind. So firstly, I'd recommend having a cloud backup such as GitHub. And there's lots of other options as well, but most people are familiar with GitHub. And if it has Git included in it, which allows you to essentially upload different versions, have branches, and do pull requests, which allows you to see changes over time sort of in your product, then that's also a big plus as well, because you can easily manage things instead of having to write down, well, from this version to this next version of a script, I did this. Instead, it keeps track of it automatically and can show you the differences in code. So it's always good to have a cloud backup, whatever you're most familiar with. Like I said, this allows you to easily see changes over time over different versions and updates. So for example, whenever you upload a new commit, which is basically uploading an update to your files in the Git system, it's going to tell you all the information that was updated. You can click on it and see, for example, here in my to-do list, I removed some items off of my to-do list, or you can actually look at the actual code files and see what's changed. Usually things that are removed are in red, things that are added are in green. So this will allow you to quickly go through, and if you don't have very good notes taken of what you changed, for example, in this README here, you can also see them in the code itself much more quickly without having to scroll through all of your files. There are plenty of tutorials out there on how to use Git or GitHub for versioning, but in general, it's really nice because you can basically see anything over time, whether it's a code view or a text view of something you personally typed, and that also applies if you're collaborating with other people. You can easily see all of the changes they make as well. The next big nice thing about using GitHub or something like that is to have this README file, which you can easily organize to have a visual and a sort of to-do list and many other useful things within. So in this example, I have my current UI progress, which I've uploaded some images, and I can easily see where the UI progress is at. Then I can have something like a to-do list, which contains sections of UI, functionality, and to-do lists for other subcategories. And I can even leave some tips for myself. This is just a way to easily have a to-do list, to organize things and know where you're at in a project, which also helps when managing a lot of different projects. The next type of backup I highly recommend is a local backup on a hard drive or on an external drive, something that you know is going to be reliable. Too often a hard drive will crash right after you buy it, especially if it's a standard hard drive. If you buy a large hard drive with a lot of space, that usually means they're a little bit less reliable. So I'd highly recommend not only having a local backup. For example, I have a freelancers folder project where I organize sort of a generalized categorical or different companies organized into different folders, and also have a redundancy of this, not only say on GitHub, but also another local copy of these files. Because even though this is on an M2 SSD and it's pretty reliable and speedy, you never know when that could crash and then boom, you've lost all of your source code and projects. So just to reiterate, have an online backup, whatever thing you're comfortable with. GitHub is usually best, and you can keep the projects private if you want to keep them out of prying eyes. Have a local backup of all of your source code and projects you're working on, and of course keep it a bit organized. And then lastly, a redundant backup So that way, if your drive dies, you have another backup and can replace it or access your files in a jiffy. The last thing I'm going to talk about is sort of the organization or structures of your folders for anything that you're backing up or just saving in general. I personally like to have things organized if I'm doing multiple types of projects into something like scripts, extensions, and plugins, because those are the usual three type of coding projects that I'm doing. So I'll have those three categories, and within them I'll have each of the products, whatever they are. And in this case, I have quite a few scripts. And if I go into one of my script folders, some of these aren't as organized, but the general gist is to have an organized place for your source code and your encoded or obfuscated code, if that's how your deliverables are. And of course, if you have other things like project files for testing or for promo videos, these are also good to keep organized as well. For me personally, I like to keep all of my source files in the root folder, and then I make an encoded folder where I convert, say for example, my scripts to JSX bin, or where I'll put my obfuscated extension source code. With plugins, you don't really have to worry about this because everything is going to be encoded into an AEX or .plugin file. But for scripting and anything JavaScript, I like to keep everything in a sort of source code folder and an encoded folder. But in general, when it comes to things, I like to have a source folder for all of the source code. I like to have an installers folder for any installers that are there for the product, and any encoded JavaScript extend files as well. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. That's how to manage versions and backups of all of your programming projects, how to basically make sure you have good backups, you'll never lose your projects, which can happen in the worst of times, and also how to organize things a little bit. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. Down below, hit subscribe and the bell icon to be notified of new videos coming out twice weekly on the channel. And down in the description, you can check out our GitHub, follow us there, and check out our own organizational techniques, as well as check out all the cool code projects we have coming. Also, make sure you follow us here because we release code way before the videos themselves. If you want to join our Discord server, you can get help with scripting, extensions, plugins, expressions, and much more. And if you'd like to help support us on YouTube, you can become a member, supporter, premium supporter, or VIP, link in the description. And one of the cool perks of that is you get shoutouts like in this video, and you also get Discord status. So some of our members here, like Jay Pearl, who's making amazing plugins, it's Namayas, and I still don't know how to pronounce her name, Hoppy. He's one of our longest members as well. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.